Hey everyone, I'm Robin McFadden and I'm also one of the coaches involved in running this group, and I'm super excited to have you here. And I'm about to do my workout, but I've been reading this book and something that I just read really spoke to me, and I just wanted to share it this morning. It really is important to think about loving yourself, because it doesn't just affect you, it can affect your whole family and it can affect your children in ways that you don't even expect. So in this book it was talking about how this mom had 6 kids and how she poured herself into her kids. She fully believed in them. She loved them. She thought they were amazing. She spent the entire time they were growing up, there was never a more loving, caring mom who was always super positive towards her kids and told them they could do anything. And as they grew up, it continued. Even in their 40s, she would often call them up and tell them just that they were special. And you know, it was amazing how much love this mom poured into her 6 kids. But her 6 kids, you'd think they were all super successful, right, in their 40s? Well, it turned out they all had a really low self-esteem. Well, how can that be? If she spent all this time pouring all her love and energy into them, how could they have low self-esteem? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't until you look at the mom. And she did not feel good about herself. She would look in a mirror and she would say, "Oh, I look terrible today," or "Oh, I wish I wasn't so fat," or all that kind of stuff, that, you know, the negative stuff that we have all said to ourselves, right? And her kids, it turns out the kids don't listen as much as we would like them to what we say, but they watch and they observe, and they saw their mom doing that all throughout their childhood and their entire lives. And that's what they took into themselves, that if their mom didn't feel like she was good enough, then they probably weren't good enough either. And I think it's so tragic that this mom did everything she thought she could to pour herself into her kids. And how many of us do that, right? We just, you know, lose ourselves practically in trying to do everything for our kids. But she didn't put anything into herself, and her kids noticed that. And her kids, you know, took that and felt the same way about themselves that she felt about herself. And I think it's just tragic, and you know, it makes me feel really sad, because when I started my whole journey with Beachbody, you know, I wasn't very nice to myself. I didn't feel very good about myself. I didn't say very nice things to myself, and I wonder how much of that my kids have picked up. So I did have to make a rule. It was a couple years ago probably now, where I don't know, I used to say things like, it's never much about the outside for me, that part, it's not that important to me, but as you may be able to tell by it, I don't care, you know, hair in a ponytail, no makeup, whatever, that's my usual. But I used to say things to myself like, you're stupid, like I can't believe you would do that, like how could you be so dumb, like all the time I would say that stuff to myself. And I put a lot of pressure on myself to do things just the right way the first time, and it wasn't okay to not do it the right way the first time, and I was really mean to myself if I didn't do it right. And one day it was actually my mom, moms are so good at this, who said, like, would you ever say that to a friend of yours? And I was like, well, no, of course not, but, you know, I'm just saying it to myself. And she was like, you should never say anything to yourself that you wouldn't say to your best friend. And so that really made me think, and so then I made a rule that I wasn't allowed to say anything to myself that I wouldn't say to a best friend. And wow, was it hard at first. You know, it's a habit, it's ingrained, it's something we've been doing for a really long time. But I made a really big effort, and I have succeeded now with time, and I don't say those things to myself anymore, because you know what, like, so what if I spilled milk all over the floor? Well, whatever, it's annoying, but I have to clean it up. It doesn't mean I'm stupid, it doesn't mean I'm an idiot, it doesn't mean that I'm not a good person. It just means that I've made a mistake. Who cares? And so I really feel a lot better about myself when I'm not the one putting myself down. It has made a huge difference in how I feel about myself. And I really hope, after reading this book yesterday, I really hope that's transferring over to my kids, and they are picking up on that I am nice to myself, I love myself, and I want them to be able to love themselves going forward. So if you are, you know, pouring yourself into your kids and not putting anything into you, I think you really need to think about that, because it's going to have more of an effect than you think, and it can be far-reaching, and we really need to love ourselves and be a role model for our kids so that they learn to do the same thing. So I know I'm passionate about it because I really think that this is so important, and so I'm so glad you guys are joining us for the next few weeks. And I hope that this spoke to you, and I hope that today at least you'll be nice to yourself. And pay attention today. This is what I would like you to do. Pay attention today about something negative you say to yourself, and comment below with something that you thought of today that came into your mind, that you, whether you let go of it or whether you know, something you normally say. But pay attention, because I bet you're not even aware of the negative things that you say about yourself, because I know I sure wasn't when I first started doing this. It was such a habit that I just didn't even really pay attention to it. I would just say, you're an idiot, and move on. But really pay attention, and comment below if you're brave, and with one negative thing that you say about yourself. So go and attack the day and have an amazing day. I'm gonna go do my workout.